and she just hits a dead end with this guy.
We have to use that, especially at the front end of a conversation, or you get shut down.
When you're stuck, get to Rapport.
The amount of unknown information here is colossal.
So keep going. Just try not to paint yourself into a corner.
I want you guys to think about, as you're listening to this.
Cash call, everybody. Dale Archdeacon, Brian Curtis back again. Brian, look at that. I see you in full hair mode today. Normally we see you in a hat.
Every once in a while, you just got to do something different. You got to keep the audience guessing, because if I did everything the same, that'd be boring, right?
You're a wild man.
I'm crazy. I'm wild and crazy. I showed up without a hat.
Wild and crazy. All right. So today I have a call where it's a new agent and she's doing the great thing. She's doing what we all want our agents to do, making the calls, making the contacts, and she just hits a dead end with this guy. And you can hear that a lack of experience is giving her, she's at a dead end. And so I just want to play this call and talk about what to do when you get into this kind of dead end. Can't always overcome it, can't always change it, but I can hear that there are places that she could go in this conversation.
Opportunities to at least try is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do you have for us today?
So my call is, I want to call it an opportunity missed. Potentially. We actually don't know. So the idea is, honestly, the call goes exceedingly well and it gets to one point. The client's going to ask a question and the agent goes, great, and just moves on. And I want you guys to think about, as you're listening to this, what if you ask this certain question? We'll talk about what it is and what could have potentially been missed, because it could potentially be disaster, actually, based on, it probably won't be, but it could be.
You want to go first?
Listen to how well things are going. And, Dale and I talk about this a lot. There's, 4 things you want to do. And one of those things is a full discovery. We don't necessarily use that word, but that's the term that I think gets missed here.
The address that she sent me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you live here now?
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, I live.
Is that in the house you want to look at is also in, right?
Yeah.
Is that the address? Yeah. Okay. And when's a good time to go see that? Are you?
I would say like early afternoon, like 1-ish maybe.
Okay, but see, I have an appointment at 1 in. You think we could do 2?
Of course.
Would 2 work? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, as soon as
fine.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. I don't usually drive on and catch these calls, but it was just in my say. So I did. So I will, as soon as I stop, I'm going to send you my information too. So you can see how to spell my name and it makes sense.
By the way, she has a weird spelling of a name. That's why she's going through that whole thing. If people are like, why are you tell me how to spell it? She's got a name is not the one that you would normally hear.
I think that's fine. Not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to give a pro tip here.
Please.
Always try to blame any inconvenience or inability to accommodate a time on the sellers. And so in this case, hey, yeah, we'd like to see it at 1 o'clock. Okay, great. I'm going to see if that works for the sellers. If it doesn't, would maybe a 2 o'clock work? Just to give them a window. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm not thinking about the sellers, but because I don't want to, if I'm a strange salesperson that you're interacting with for the first time, I'm going to try to not make me the reason you can't go see the house.
I agree, Dale. And so listen to this. It's okay to have appointments. And I love what you're doing. At the end of the day, you don't have to tell somebody what you're doing. So I'm going to go a different way with the same concept. Like my son played soccer, okay? Winter soccer game, 6 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, during the week. So obviously prime time to show houses. And at that point in my life, I was out showing houses. If my son had a soccer game, I didn't tell the client, I can't show you property because I'm going to go hang out with my kid. I said, unfortunately, I have another appointment. And then you can go into it. Would it be okay if somebody else show it, or can we look at it? But I never said, my child is more important than you. My child is more important than them, but I'm not going to tell them that.
You would think that most people would accommodate that and they would understand, and a lot of people would. Some people are dicks and don't care and will cheat on you because you put family first. And so there's no reason you don't have to put that out there and hope that they're the kind of people that would accommodate for it. You just make it a standard across the board. I have an appointment at that time.
Right. So if I said, but think about it, no one's going to say, hey, Dale, I'm sorry, I can't meet tonight at 6. I got another appointment. Well, what's your appointment? Well, no one's going to say that. They're going to say, okay, you're allowed to have.
I've met in my 30 years of sales, I've met 1 or 2 people that do that. Most people do not.
Yeah. I haven't even ever met that person. So
I have.
and if I did, that's where the relationship would cease. It's none of your damn business. So,
Well, unfortunately, sometimes we need the paycheck, and
There-
I'm not ashamed to admit that sometimes I have taken paychecks that I otherwise would now turn down.
all right, here we go.
I will get this appointment set up and send it to you. I look forward to meeting y'all this afternoon. Is it going to just be you?
No,
Or is
it's
there a
gonna be,
Randy?
yeah, right.
So just so why the word name Randy is funny, when they transferred it over, there was a miscommunication and the name Randy came out. So she called this woman Randy at the front end. She handled it fine. But so now she's actually bringing it back as a joke. And I actually appreciate that because it helps lighten things up and move it forward. So
It's gonna be my boyfriend and I.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to meeting you both there.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
All right. Well, have a good day, and y'all get in trouble, Wes.
So it's interesting right there. I thought the call was going to end. Didn't you?
Yeah.
And then, so this is what I think she went, she's on my team and we talk about this. Number one thing you have to do is build rapport, right? And I think she realized that she really never tried. Outside of their joke about the incorrect name, there was zero rapport building. So it was almost like, oh shit, it's the end. I better build some rapport. That's kind of how I took this. I don't know about you.
Not with the weather.
No, luckily, but I did hear it was pretty bad. We were sound asleep, so we didn't hear it.
I was till my phone went off. Honor, so
Exactly.
well, well, I look forward to meeting y'all this afternoon. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Well, I will see y'all at 3. Now,
At
Mal, I will see you at 2.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
exactly.
Thank you. You have a good day. Okay.
Hey, would you mind in your information, because we did send in like a couple of houses to take a look at. Would you mind giving me the address of which one we're meeting you at?
Oh, of course. Okay. This one is, and I can show you any house that you pick up. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's meet at the
That-
house. But whenever you send your information, could you put just that address in, just so that I know where it correlates to?
Oh, yeah. And you'll be able to click on it and it'll map you there. So,
Oh, perfect. Okay. Appreciate it.
I don't have the quantity of money in my bank account that I want because I've never had that. But I would bet all the money in my current amount of money in my bank account that this person is looking at houses with other people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And listen, you said when we were coming into this call today, you were like, hey, the agent didn't catch it. The agent did catch it. She said, I can show you any house, but she didn't do the math.
You're right. She weaked it.
Yeah. She was like, oh, I can show you any house. Listen, there's very likelihood that they are seeing houses with other agents. Just like you said, Brian, she didn't run it down. She didn't chase it down. Chase it down. Now's your chance. Don't just like, what'd you say? Wing it? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's just like winging it. I'm going to throw something out there to hope that, and here's the thing, like
So
what I heard here was, I can help you do anything. Don't work with anybody else. But that's not what was said.
let's role play this. Okay.
Please.
So that you can demonstrate for people what this agent should have done.
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, yeah. Can you send over that address? Because we submitted several. And by the way, in the call, she said, I can show you any house. And this buyer really doubled down and just said, oh, okay, yeah, well, send me this one over, meaning I'm engaging with you for this one. Send it over to me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we're at in the conversation, where you made an attempt. You said, I can show you any house. And then I say, oh, well, just send me that one over so that I can match up which house I'm seeing with you.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer, I'm going to role play from this point forward, but I'm also going to say, I would have asked this person before we got here, have you looked at any houses? So this is not the correct thing to do. This is the correct thing to do if you get in this box, if that makes sense. I don't want people to know that I don't think this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do because of where we're at.
Yeah. So for clarification, earlier on, at some point you would have asked, have you been out to see homes already?
Yes, absolutely. Have you guys looked at any houses in person is actually my friend.
Your agent didn't do that in this call.
She did
now
not.
We're here. So now we're going to fast forward to, you said, oh, hey, Dale, I can show you any house. And I say, oh, yeah, just send me this one over so I can match it up to the list.
Yeah. So Dale, absolutely. What I'm hearing you say, you just want me to send you that one so you can make sure that we're coordinating those two things together.
Yeah, I have several other houses we, like I said, submitted inquiries on. And so I just want to make sure I know which one I'm seeing with you.
Perfect. So I apologize. I probably should have talked about this earlier, but have you looked at any houses previous to us, or is this your first one?
It's our first time out, but like I said, we have probably 4 or 5 houses we're trying to see. So we're stacking up the showings so that we can go look at them.
Oh, so that's interesting because I don't know if if you've heard about the changes that have happened with representation, who represents who in a transaction after August 17th of last year. There was a lawsuit, and so some changes. Are you familiar with those changes at all?
Well, I heard something about it. There's just like a paper I have to sign if I want to see the house.
Yeah, let me just draw some broad strokes. And basically, what I want you to understand is that every time you go see a house, you have to create agency, which basically means you have to say who represents who in the transaction. That's all it's really saying. There's some more, but that's the basic gist of it. So if I show you a house and then you go and see a house with a RE/MAX agent, you're going to sign another one. You're going to see a house with a Keller Williams agent. So you're going to go and see all these different houses. You're going to have to literally sign paperwork all the time. So what we're actually suggesting, and honestly is pretty universal across our industry, is that you pick a person that you feel comfortable with, that you like and trust, who can actually help you look at all the houses, so it's not confusing for everybody and it makes the transaction very challenging when you're working with 4 or 5 different agents. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, and again, it was a lot of, I would have handled the whole thing differently, but we got stuck in that box because we realized, oh crap, is basically what it did. So, and there's other things in there, Dale. I think if you have some ideas, I think it's great to share other ideas that you would do as well.
I do. I like what you did where you made the clarification about choosing. I would have just added a little bit more discovery first before I went into that.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would say, oh, wow. Okay. Have you been out to see any homes yet?
I have not.
Okay. Got it. All right. So you have a list of homes. You've submitted them for inquiries. How many have you gotten scheduled so far beyond the one we just scheduled?
Honestly, Dale, you're the only one I've actually spoken to. I haven't got any other appointments scheduled.
Oh, okay. Got it. So, well, let me ask you this. What is the plan? Are you planning on working with lots of different agents or choosing one, or have you not thought that through yet?
Dale, this is my first time home buyer, honestly. And, I read the internet, but I'm just kind of trying to figure it out, to be honest. I'm just, I went on builder.com and I got some stuff and I'm talking to you, and that's kind of where I'm at.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, great. I know it can be really confusing out there. So like when I have to go buy a new car, I always forget that this happens. So I'm on the internet, I'm looking around at cars, I see cars that I'm interested in, I submit inquiries on them, and then I just get bombarded by all these different salespeople, right? And it's really overwhelming. And unfortunately, that's the way that you're headed right now. I can help stop all of that for you. So here's what we can do. Tell me the list of homes that you want to go see, and I can book them all for you. We can do them all in one shot. And then if any of those agents reach out to you, you can just say, hey, I'm taken care of. I'm working with Dale from EXP. Thank you.
Exactly.
How does that sound?
That sounds great. And I like that approach as well. The reality is that you did the most important thing is you gathered the information so you could move forward.
Yeah.
Because without without that first question, there is no script. Actually, there is. I'll send you the information, and it's the the agent script is the other script, but you need that information. Say, and then because Dale and I don't know if you guys noticed as you're watching, we had different scenarios, right? I was a first time home buyer, and he was just a regular buyer. Was my impression. So there's the amount of unknown information here is colossal, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, hey, if that was helpful and you're watching this right now, comment below for us. Let us know if you found it helpful for Brian and I to role play this stuff. What was the name of the 2 Muppets from the Muppet Show up in the corner box?
That I'll find out. I'll
look it up.
It is Statler and Waldorf.
Statler and Waldorf, because a lot of times you and me are a couple of old guys chuckling at people making jokes, right? Like Statler and Waldorf. And so I'm just wondering, audience, is it helpful if Brian and I role play this stuff? So comment down below. Let us know if you like it. We'll do more of that where we play something and then you can hear 2 old dogs talking about how they would handle it.
I got another idea, Dale. I'm kind of nerdy, as you know. I think I'm going to have our dev team see if we can spin something up so that we can look like them during the podcast and just do one podcast like that.
That would be funny. I like that. Or You know, it'd be awesome is if we had like a little inset video where they're laughing when we make a joke.
Oh, they're like our, they're like our
yeah.
What do you got? I think we beat my call up.
Before I switch over to my call, I'm curious. Do you know what happened with that? Did she
No,
end up landing that buyer?
I'm going to call her and ask because
We're
I'm
going
just
to find out.
Don't know.
I really want to know. All right, so let's see here.
Hello.
You connected with my team through Zillow about a year ago. It looks like you were back on our website, and I just wanted to connect and see if you guys picked up your home search again.
All right, so not quite, a little loose on the scripting, right? Mm-hmm. She said, have you picked up your home search again? And then just trailed off high, sort of on an upswing, which was an implied question, right?
Yep.
I really prefer that you give them an either or, which is, have you guys picked up your home search again? Or did you already buy a new place or something like that?
I agree. We have to use that, especially at the front end of a conversation, or you get shut down. Are you guys thinking about buying a new home? No. I'm just like, I'm stuck.
Funny you mention that. Let's hear what happens.
No, I just kind of look around every once in a while.
Gotcha. It looks like you guys were looking at. Did you guys have any interest in that property?
No. I used to live in 7606, so I was just kind of looking through the neighborhood.
So she asked another dead-end question, right? Have you picked up your home search again? No. You looked at this property. Do you have interest in it? No. She's stuck, right? All right, let's hear what happens.
Okay, so you guys are just kind of window shopping?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Have you guys considered making a move within the next couple months, or?
No, probably not.
Okay, gotcha. Well, if anything changes, just give me a call back. And if there's anything you need, our team is here for you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Yeah, she's never hearing from that guy again.
No. Here's the good news. I don't think this was a good one to practice on. I don't think it mattered, and you should still practice and do it well, right?
Yeah, and so here's what I think she should have done. I think she could reorient what she did getting into the conversation. She asked very yes or no questions, which obviously showed the issue that you run into. Have you picked up your home search again? No. Are you interested in this property? No. Are you planning on making a move in the next few months? No. Right? No. The only yes that she got was, she said, so you're just window shopping? Yes. You're okay, got it. And you know what's crazy, man? We specifically train on this. Window shopping, getting started, not interested. Those are simple objections is what we call them versus story objections. Story objections have a story to them, right? There's context. I'm going to do it at this time with this person or under these circumstances, or not do it at this time under these circumstances. There's information to work on. Simple objections, I don't have anything to work on. And usually you get it when people don't have a time frame, or they don't have really specific plans or needs, or they just don't want to talk to a salesperson. When you have a simple objection, we've talked about it before, you want to focus on present tense questions and build rapport. Who are you now? Where are you now? What are you doing now? Right? Every single time that you talk to a buyer and they want to book an appointment, ask them if they have other properties they want to see, if they have other properties on their list. Find out if they've booked any other showings. Yes, she didn't ask that. The caller accidentally revealed that to her because they asked for the address.
We did not get that information due to good discovery. No. That's not how we received it.
This call would have gone, hey, Brian, you ready? I see you came back to our website looking at homes. I just wanted to see if you are in the market to purchase or if you've already purchased something, right? And you're going to say whatever you're going to say. But if I get down...
But I'm not going to say no.
I'm not going to say no. Let's say that you said, oh, hey, thanks, man. I just like looking. I'm just window shopping. Oh, got it. Okay. Brian, do you currently live in market or are you moving here? It's a present tense question.
Yeah.
So the guy said, I used to live at whatever address and I was looking at this other one. Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, do you still live in this city or did you move? It's just a place to go. And once you answer that question, okay, got it. How long have you lived there? I'm just going to keep on going down the list.
Dale, I think there's a couple of things I agree 100% with what you just said and how it is. And I also want to even hammer a little bit more on how important when you start a call off on the wrong foot, it's it's like in sports, if you're down 10-0 in the first minute of the game, and it doesn't really matter what sport, but it's like, man, I got to do twice as much work just to get to 0, right? And so, there's a guy, I don't know if you follow him or not, a guy named Jim Quick. He's a pretty cool dude if you ever read any of his stuff. The boy with the broken brain is kind of his thing, and he got hurt as a child and basically figured out how to become smart, for lack of a better way to put it. It's Jim Quick, interesting guy. But he says this, and I'm going to make an analogy to our call here. He says you can control 2 hours of your day, the first hour and the last hour. I'm like, yeah, I believe that. I'm going to take that concept and put it in the call. You can control the first thing you say and the last thing you say. Everything else in between is a reaction to what's going on inside of there. So you should know what to say on the first thing, and you should know what to say on the last thing. Those things you're going to say theoretically every single time. Know them like you're breathing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that analogy. That's a good paradigm to use. Okay. Yeah. So switch to rapport. When you're stuck, get to rapport. Who are they now? Where are they now? What are they doing now? And find some way to ask a personal question.
Yes.
Right. I'll just give you the 3 simple questions that we teach when somebody's just window shopping or just looking, buyer specifically. Do you currently live here, or are you relocating here? Do you currently own your home, or are you renting? What neighborhoods are you interested in? Those are 3 safe questions that you can ask, and you can ask all 3 if you need to, until you can break this person open and get them to start talking about their own personal scenario or preferences or whatever they're doing, right? I'm not talking about buying houses. I'm just talking about who they are, right?
Yeah. And another thought that I had is, I think, and this agent's relatively new, I think you said?
Yes.
One of the things that happens when you're relatively new, so if you're relatively new, this is for you, is you get so caught up in saying the right thing that you forget to have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, I've watched agents who don't know a single script, don't know a single close, don't know any of those things, but they're so good at making conversation that people just want to hang out with them. Now, I'm not advocating that's the way to be. And it's more important to try and build a relationship with this person than say the correct script, I guess, is really what I'm getting at.
Do you remember that movie Tommy Boy?
I do. It's one of my favorites. Yes.
Chris Farley, Tommy went wingy. Like, dude just talked out of his ass, and
Directly,
somehow people liked him. Yeah, and he won. He got sales, and like he was just all over the place. So in my coaching and training company, I've been doing this for years, Brian, and I don't know if you've run across this scenario. Every once in a while, I get a Tommy Boy student, right? Who literally cannot follow anything I tell them, but still kills it and still books appointments and still converts and still sells and does awesome. And whenever I run across that person, I'm like, we are not the company for you. Just go do more of you. Like, you can't, I can't replicate your magic, and I can't teach your magic. And the way that we do it isn't going to work for you. So every once in a while, when you run into the like you said, the person who doesn't know any scripts and can do a conversation, part of the magic of the Tommy Boy thing is just they can have a conversation with the wall, right?
Yeah. Believe it or not, having a conversation is a formula. It doesn't have to be. It's not for this guy. Like, this guy is just like, I meet a human, I instantly know how to connect. I mean, we all have certain skill sets, right? That's just what he's doing. That's who he is. Probably has no idea how it happened. Probably took no training at all, right? And there's something that can be learned from that guy. And a lot of the stuff that Dale and I talk about is what the natural salespeople are doing without knowing it. We're just putting a system behind it.
Give us your couple of takeaways from your call, Brian.
When I look at that call, it really just screams 2 things. The first thing is rapport is important. It's just vital. And we talked about that on both of those calls. And the second thing is ask the next question. When a person tells you a piece of information randomly, actually, this person actually stopped the agent from getting off the phone. Hold on a second. That means something. I don't know what it means. And by the way, neither do you. So ask the next question. Those are my 2 big takeaways there.
So yeah, I think the takeaways from my call are, or actually I forgot to point this out about the call that I had. Huge applause, pats on the back to this newer agent who kept digging, trying to make something out of the conversation. She kept trying to fight her way out of a dead end. And she ended up in the dead end, 1, because the guy doesn't have super amount of motivation or a story to tell. 2, she ended up in the dead end because she didn't know what questions to ask. And your point, Brian didn't have a great intro. So here's the takeaways from my call are that you absolutely want to shift into rapport building mode. What does rapport building mode mean? Typically, it means asking personal questions about somebody else to get them to talk about themselves outside of a sale, right? Outside of buying or selling. Who are you? Where are you? Ask present tense questions that they can answer easily for you that reduces sales pressure. And then the other thing is keep digging. She did a great job digging. So keep going. Just try not to paint yourself into a corner.
I did have one other takeaway from your call. Slot closes, either or, however you want to call that. She asked 3 yes/no questions during that call, if you remember. We can't do that because you're just going to get no over and over and over again. You know, I'm not saying you never get yes, but it really made her job twice as hard by asking yes/no questions.
Yeah. A framework of are you this or are you that is a better situation than a single yes or no. Typically, there are applications for single yes or no questions, but this is not the example of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes or no questions, you've got to be willing to hear no and be done is kind of my general philosophy. That's an extreme, but yeah, we don't want to be just out there asking questions. We're just going to get a bunch of no's. So,
yep. All right. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Hey, if you found that helpful and you want more help, if you're struggling with converting leads, having conversations, listen, I mean, when I got into the real estate business, I didn't want to be a salesperson. I just liked real estate. I didn't set out to be a award-winning salesperson or a sales trainer, for God's sakes. If you've never had professional sales training, if you're struggling in your real estate business, or if you just simply want to improve what you're doing and you like the kind of concepts and techniques that we talk about on this show, check out our appointment masterclass below. Links are in the description where I take you through our different frameworks for scripting and dialogue, which are unlike anything that you've heard. So, I'm sure you've seen the crappy free scripts out there on the internet or the old school big box coaching companies that are still teaching you sales, dialogue, and strategy from the 1970s that's just been shined up a little bit. If you don't like the cat and mouse chase, if you don't like the adversarial type of scripting, if you don't like sounding like a used car salesperson, then click on our masterclass, come check it out, and you can discover how we are communicating differently now, a much more human-centered, people-first kind of approach in having conversations and creating mutually beneficial sales relationships with our clients. Even people that are traditionally sphere-based and referral type agents love our material because it feels so comfortable. It doesn't even feel like having a sales conversation. So click on the link below. Come join us in our appointment masterclass. Oh, and by the way, listen, we need calls to review. We'll skip over your name so that nobody knows that it's you. But if you want free coaching, if you want advice on your calls, click the link that you find in the description here and upload some of your calls. What we'll do is we'll review them so that we can see if there's a place in the call that we can help you by giving you some scripting and dialogue, role play out the scenario that you ran into so that you can then listen to how Brian would handle it, how I would handle it. And if you like this one, you should check out this next video where we cover more calls and teach you more techniques and strategies to improve the sales conversations that you're having.